Tink. Yay! We're finally here.
Yay!
What's going
Hey,
on?
hey,
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 hey, hey.
hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah.
Yay! I
Hi,
saw that
Bernice.
Bernice is watching. Hey,
Hi, Bernice.
Bernice. This is so awesome. Okay. I was in church, went over 30 minutes for me, and I was singing in the choir, and it was music day. So, I had to stay because we were singing the last song. And my tea just finished. I hope you have your beverage of choice.
Water.
Water. Oh, man.
You can tell you've been getting sun.
Yes.
Look
Okay.
at all that sun on your face, dude.
I've got from walking around yesterday. Do you see that?
Oh, man.
On my shoulders. I put sunscreen on, but we were out for several hours, and
Right.
it only lasts for so long.
You were always able to get tan. I couldn't get tan.
Tan, I guess.
Yeah,
I burn. I know I burn.
When you were little, you always tanned better than I did.
Oh.
I never really tanned. I just got really freckly.
Oh, okay. So welcome to week 8 of the Artist's Way. And let's start out. I feel like we should start out with a little, like a devotional or like a poem. Do you have a poem you've been working on recently that you'd like to share? Or could you ad-lib a poem maybe?
I can. Sure, I'll ad-lib a poem.
The subject is on survival.
Okay.
And, wait a second. Okay, how about this? A poem around this quote by Claudia Black. Okay. Surround yourself with people who respect and treat you well. And that's from week 8 in the Artist's Way.
Okay, so people are like peaches. They're delightfully sweet, and sometimes they have pits. So don't chew all the way through them. Just nibble on the surface.
That's pretty good. I like it. I'll nibble on your surface.
That's weird.
So in the chapter, it starts off by talking about loss or recovering a sense of strength, and a strength coming from the losses in our life, like loss of hope, loss of faith, loss of money, loss of self-belief, and learning how to build that confidence back up in yourself again. And so the video on Friday, I was talking about one of the things that I've been struggling with for a long time, like depression, and how I have finally come to the point where I can find it more as a means of strength in the form that helps me look forward to doing something every day that makes me happy. And I know Bernice, I saw, she commented on the Facebook post, and she said that one thing that she does every day she looks forward to is drinking her cup of coffee in her chair outside. And I think that sounds delightful, because I have found immense amount of pleasure in drinking a cup of coffee. Even if I love going to cafes, like finding a special cafe that's like local, and I really enjoy the experience of being there, and then the atmosphere and the music and just people watching and having my little coffee or my mocha or whatever it is. I mean, you and I, when I was back in Topeka, we did that a few times, and like we would, work on our little thingies, and
you go to the coffee shop and you feel like you're in a movie.
Yes, like you're in a movie.
You feel like you're doing things that people do in coffee shops and movies, because coffee shops are supposed to be so cool.
Yes, that's true.
My little thing is I like to, I don't get to do this very often, but there's this really wonderful place that, like, taking a nap on your bed at about 3 p.m. during like the cool parts of summer, with like the window open and somebody 2 blocks down is mowing their lawn,
Yeah.
and like taking like an
hint
hour to
of
2
fresh cut
hours.
grass or something.
Yes, it's like the faint smell of fresh cut grass. You've got a breeze blowing through. There's no fans running. It's just the breeze, and there's sunlight, but it's not real direct sunlight, and it's the perfect time to sort of nap, but you don't really completely go to sleep. You just lay there and just be. I really enjoy laying there and being. I haven't done that in many years, and I think it's completely luxurious.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Although, when I went to Alaska, I was able to do that a lot more often. But Kansas, it's like you can do that for 2 days, and then you're
Right.
all done.
That's right. And then
the weather won't accommodate.
Then it's hot in Topeka. Pick my Topeka. You got to see my post on Facebook.
I saw that you posted something on my wall, but I didn't watch it yet.
I don't know if it showed up on your wall, but it's really funny. It's this piece of some random cartoon where it said it's hot in Topeka, and it's just.
Did you know there's other cities called Topeka in other states?
Oh,
I found a Topeka.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. I can't remember which state, but
yeah, there's Topekas in other places. It's a Native American term, kind of like Oskaloosa
or Tecumseh.
Tecumseh is actually not a native word. That's the last name of some white settler that came in and pushed everybody off the land.
Oh,
we're gonna get into racial issues. We got to back on up.
So back on, next thing I wanted to talk about was page 136, The Artist's Way.
Mm-hmm.
She has little quotes in the margins. It says, art is a technique of communication. The image is the most complete technique of all communication. And I think that speaks to me because, I've said this a lot of painting and imagery is my communication. My art is my communication.
Mm-hmm.
I'm horrible with words and talking to. I come across as, I don't know. You'd be able to explain what I come across as.
Well, most people perceive you as quiet. However, I think that you're a lot better with words than you think you are. It's just that I think you're nervous about it because you're just nervous about how people are going to take you. Because when you do speak, you're extremely to the point. Although I think that most people, if they are startled, they end up finding it funny. And so that's why so many people find us hilarious, because we just tell the truth, and the truth is funny.
That's true.
It's because we're bold enough to say exactly how we really feel, and to describe situations exactly the way they actually are instead of candy coating it. Not everybody is bold enough to be able to say what actually is or how they actually feel. So I think that you need to give yourself a little more credit. I think that when you're in a social situation talking to people, your nervous habits end up serving you well, because you end up just coming across as being funny instead of being rude. And I think people that misinterpret you as being rude, you don't even want to be around anyway. But I don't know anybody who's ever interpreted you as being rude.
I do wonder, I'd really like to take a poll on this of what people perceive, like when they first meet me or when they have first met me or something, like if they think I'm boring. Because I do have this, like, when I meet someone new, like I was saying to you before, I get nervous of knowing what to say and how to start or continue a conversation. And so I kind of feel like from the other person's energy, like they're done talking to me, or I'm boring, or like there's just that level of I'm feeling awkward, and I don't know.
I think that's just your feeling. You ought to, what is it, like the 5 agreements or something like that? You ought to go find that book on Amazon, the 5 agreements, because it talks about basically don't take anything personally, and anything that anybody does, it's all them, it's not you. Has nothing to do with you. I was just reading somebody's outline of that on Facebook the other day. I've never read the book. I need to read it, but I think it's just your own insecurities playing against you. Because, I mean, maybe I'm partial, but just looking at you, you don't look like a boring person ever. You don't dress boring. You don't do your hair boring. You have striking features. I would think that there's something to you, you know. And if I saw you in context, I mean, the only time you're ever out of the house doing anything, you're doing something interesting. Even your jobs are interesting.
Yeah, I guess so, when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, think about the context.
I always have seen myself as a little on the boring side.
But you're not boring. You are the least boring person in our family.
Because I think of, and I think this stemmed from what I was around growing up, or stuff that I put on myself of something that I thought I was supposed to be, but I wasn't, and I am not, of being outgoing, extroverted, and like really, really super social.
Yeah, no, you were never like that.
And I was never those 3 things. And so because I am a homebody who is quiet, and I like going at my own pace, and that pace is typically slower than most people. To me, that categorizes as I am a boring person.
That's so dumb. You're not boring. Think about it. Like, the places where people see you are like art museums, coffee shops, and like singing in a choir in a Unitarian church. I mean, you know, gardens of mansions. Your job is to house sit for somebody who has a pool in Long Beach. You're so boring.
And I paint with my spare time, and I work on my own online business while I make a few friends from the Unitarian Church, and I joined the choir by myself on my own. And
you're so boring.
I joined the choir, and then that Sunday we sang, and then this Sunday we sang. And the choir director, he's so funny. His name's Jim. And he, every time we would sing this one song where it was a Latin type of choir song, the rest of the choir got several weeks to work on this. And so he's like, you guys know this, no music.
Oh.
And he's like, including you, Kezia, no music. Oh. And so I got to sing with music once, first time through.
Yeah.
Any practice after that, he's like, you just watch my mouth.
It's a good thing that you're a darn good singer. People, if you don't understand, like, Kezia has perfect pitch, and she's an excellent sight reader.
I don't have perfect pitch.
Yes, you do. You're freaking gifted. Okay, so maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but you do have, anyway, she's just very good.
Well, I'm very musical, but I thought it was funny. He kept introducing me to the choir over and over again when we would sing that song. Everybody, this is Kezia. She has sung this song twice, and she knows how to fake it and know when not to fake it. He said that this morning when we were practicing before the service. Everyone, this is Kezia. This is her third time singing this song.
She knows when to fake it and when not to fake it.
I know when, and that's true. I do know when to fake it.
That is the wisest thing I have ever heard said. You know what? You should put that on your business card. I know when to fake it and when not to fake it.
I know when to fake it, when not to fake it.
Are we going to do the artist's way?
Well, okay, that was talking about how the art, my art speaks louder than my words do. Next thing, which is totally, I think it applies to a lot of people, but personally, I have seen this all the time. So this is a situation where, okay, you've cleared a morning to write or to paint or to journal, but then you realize that the clothes are dirty and you say, I'll just think about what I want to paint or write and fine tune the clothes, because you notice that. And so you get distracted. And what it really means is, instead of painting or writing, I'll worry about it some more instead of just doing it. And that happens.
See, I do the opposite. I'm like, I'll just worry about my laundry while I'm writing this thing.
I'll totally do the other way around. Like, I notice all these different things, I get distracted. And even since I've been out here, that has happened. And I this week, I had to force myself to sit down and paint. And I know that once I start painting and once I start getting in the rhythm, I'll never want to stop. But it's just getting started and getting over that anxiety, the worry, getting rid of all the distractions that will distract you, and being okay with that.
Yeah, and sometimes actually, what I said earlier was not entirely accurate. That's what I did when I was a teenager. As an adult, I'm like, man, I should really do some writing. And then I think, oh, I got to do all this laundry. And so what I do instead is I look up old episodes of Good Eats and watch that.
Yeah. And there is some, like, if you do need some sort of inspiration before you need to start. But as she's saying in the book, she's like, most blocked creatives, which the point of this is to unblock your creativeness. Most blocked creatives will have an active addiction to anxiety and will let that anxiety thrive. And so as like a little metaphor, I am addicted to sugar. And, sugar, as you know, is like a drug. We might as well be shooting in heroin because it.
Well, it's what the documentary says. Yes.
Yes, you might as well shoot in heroin. But sugar, I would use sugar to dumb down my feelings if I'm feeling stressed or if I'm feeling whatever that I want that feeling to go away. And so I will use sugar to numb that pain and to make me chill out and kind of what's that word? X out. Like remove myself from reality almost.
Okay.
And in a way, it is not very nice to my body, but I force myself to eat. I feel absolutely sick to my stomach.
Oh, yeah.
In a way, I welcome it because it's helping me get rid of those, to numb out and to push the feelings down.
Yeah.
So,
and you can't really create in that. That's what's interesting about creation is that it's an uncomfortable place because it's a motion of extreme growth. And I find that a lot that as I've over the years of writing that I've been experiencing, I find that I wrote most of my best stuff when I should have been doing something else. In other words, it was that pressure from, okay, I really should be doing something else, but I'm going to do this. It was that pressure, that anxiety, like she was talking about, that ended up pushing it forward. And I ended up, I don't know, I got this weird connection with myself. And now when I'm older, it's a little bit different. And you have to sort of be in this place where you have to create or else, you know,
Yeah.
at least for me, for the way I work, I know some people are like that. All of my best stuff has come out completely without method when I just put myself in the place of this has to happen. This has to happen. What's interesting is when I get into that place, I am the most authentic. And
Yeah.
when I labor over things, it never works. So my best stuff always comes out when it's kind of a combination between I have to do it, but I'm also not really trying. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think about something I have learned of it has to, you said it has to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to improve, as anything, improve in your life, improve in your craft, you have to let the emotions come out instead of pushing them back down or worrying about them, or
Right.
they have to come out. And so you need to allow them to come out. And for a lot of people, that is a really scary experience. And
And
it's a very emotional experience.
and you might be worried that, well, sometimes the feelings or the things that you're trying to express in some artistic way, you're worried that you won't be able to do it justice. And that's why I think it's also important to allow yourself to be in that emotion and just trust that the way that you're expressing it will convey.
Yeah.
And if you try, a lot of times, if you try to express it from the outside of the feeling, from the outside looking in, it won't be accurate. If you're on the inside and you're trying to telegraph what this looks like or what this feels like or what it sounds like, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. So, something that I promised to reveal, excuse me, is this week, as you know, I started doing art journals,
Yes.
which are like visual journals.
Mm-hmm.
And I created this on this theme this week of letting go of your emotions and letting that be there. I think art journaling is an excellent way to just get out feelings without expecting it to be a perfect composition and like a perfect work of art. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, because
So like a place that is neutral ground for you to just get out whatever needs to get out with no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And you just let it be there. So this is my page. I think I need to scoot this back.
Yes.
If you can see the whole thing. So this is
cool.
The page that I got, and I got fun things. I got some newspaper clippings of some words that spoke to me. I bought this is glitter glue. This stuff is fun. If no one 88 cents for a little thing at Walmart for a thing of glitter glue. They could change your life.
Change your life with glitter glue.
So these are like I actually painted over something that I had started a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. That's another thing that I highly suggest, of painting over old things, because I do get to a point where if I created something and I'm done looking at it and I'm done with it being in my life, I either get rid of it or I just paint over it. So there's all kinds of sin behind that,
right.
Or not,
You know what's interesting is that this painting behind me, I made this. This is like the only abstract that I've done.
Yeah, you did.
And I painted over something. I had an idea for a painting that was pretty cool, and I don't have the skill to execute it. And so I just had the canvas laying around, and I'm like, I'm going to make something to put over my bed. So I started making an abstract on purpose, and it was really terrible. And then
and it turned into something that you now love it, and everyone who comes to your house loves it.
The reason that this turned out the way it did was I had everything on there and it looked horrible, and I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to wipe it off, and once it dries, I'll see if I can put something else over it. And I had wiped the entire thing off, and it looked like this, and it was perfect because it looked like a Kansas sky, which,
Yeah.
if you've ever been through the Midwest, a lot of times it'll look like this with the sunlight and anyway. And I get compliments on it all the time. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like it was perfect to me. I was like, this is exactly what I want to hang in my room. And it happened because I was wiping off the crap that looked terrible.
Good job.
Anyway.
Good job.
Yes. And people have offered to buy it. It's pretty crazy. And that's what I'm saying. It happened on accident.
Yeah.
All my best stuff happens on accident.
Sometimes your best stuff happens on accident.
Or sometimes it's just the fact that you're loose, you get in the flow, you're loose,
in the flow and you're there, and you can, that higher muse that speaks to you. So to leave this hangout this week on a positive note, I posted also on Facebook she gives a list of some positive affirmations that you can have for yourself to help you get over this anxiety and your feelings into your craft, and connect with yourself in that way. And the ones I chose, she said just pick like 3 or 4. I just chose one, and I like the one that says, "My creativity blesses others." Because I love it when I can create something that someone else will benefit, someone else will enjoy. A friend asked me yesterday, when you paint something or when you create something, do you like hanging on to it? Or like, I know a lot of artists, they view their paintings or their drawings as like their children, and they never want to let go of them. I'm like, no, I don't have a problem with that. Once I do it, I want it out of my life. I am done with it. I want someone else to find enjoyment with it. Number 1, I just don't have the storage space because I'm transient. Number 2, I'm done with I'm usually done with looking at it and with the feeling. When it's out, and I can move on. So I would like my creativity to bless others.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think sharing your art is because the creation of art is a piece of your life journey. I mean, you gave up a period of your life in order to express something, and to put it in a form that people could enjoy for a while. And so whatever you create, even if it's cookies, that's you giving your time and your life.
Yeah.
And and especially if you make it yourself, if you take the time to make the whole thing yourself.
Yes.
As opposed to just taking your money, which is a representation of your time. It's not quite the same. To buy something, it's not quite the same. So it's a piece of your life. It's actually a very intimate thing. And even if you're just telling a story, even if you're sharing your time to, even if your art form is listening to someone, it really is all a service.
Yes.
That's nice.
Speaking of, so this summer I am still making affirmation portraits, and I wanted everyone to know to sign up for an affirmation portrait. I am running this through August. August will be the last month that I'll offer this. It's at cost. It is a personalized custom painting that I take feelings, goals, affirmations. I had someone give me a quote that they kind of live by or that they really, really like, and I create a custom abstract mixed media painting around that to as a visual representation and inspiration for your life to live the way you enjoy living. So go to my website for that information. And thank you, Krista, for coming for another week of week 8.
You're very welcome. I look forward to the next weeks ahead. It will be very good.
I enjoy our combos.
Might I also say it's just wonderful to have any pieces from Kezia, and getting a painting at cost is really amazing. So if you happen to be listening, I mean, it's not very much at all. Just contact her and tell her that you like her stuff. Like go to your website. Is the page for your affirmation portrait, where can you reach that? Is that on KiziaCarterStudio.com?
Okay. I'm moving websites.
Yes.
So I'm going to be leading into my old website, which has all of that information on there, because there's like a video that explains everything in a form that you fill out. So since this week I'm still transitioning, it will be going over to my old website. But
Okay.
I'll leave all the links below.
Okay.
So they will be clear. So yeah.
I'm super excited to see what you do, because I know you post stuff on social media a lot too. So man, follow Kezia on Instagram. And
yes, I am getting really excited, because this has been a journey for me to understand more how, and the reason why I'm doing this at cost is because I'm kind of experimental. I want to learn more about what do you call it? Putting feelings into a visual form, and that's for artists who are inexperienced to like highly experienced. That's like a thing that's still really kind of difficult to portray, because everyone has different feelings. Things trigger the same feeling for different people. So I'm getting really excited, because all of these things, they're turning out so well. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next week, Sunday, 2 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. my time, 2 p.m. Pacific.
No, it's 2 p.m. Central.
2 p.m. Central. That's right, because you're
time.
Okay. 2 p.m. Central. I'm trying to make it
just
consistent.
Subscribe and follow her on G Plus, and it'll show up. I mean, geez.
Okay, so week 9.
Facebook and you'll get notified.
Week 9. All right, see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.